Welcome to the Excel Pod. Welcome to the Untied podcast, where we unravel the knots of life with faith, wisdom, and encouragement, because together we're here to untie from tradition and embrace truth through powerful Bible teaching. Today is a special show, a special episode, as Corey and I, as promised last week, are coming live from our smokers, and we're gonna be talking about normal things today in Psalm 54. As we're looking at the blessed man. And so we're so happy that you have decided to join us today. We know that whenever you're hearing this, that it will be Thanksgiving. And so we are recording the Wednesday before Thanksgiving, and we're excited to have a good conversation before we get into our study this afternoon. But we pray that the Lord is blessing you in all that you do. We pray that you will have a wonderful Thanksgiving with your family or your loved ones. And remember remember to be thankful to God for all that He has given you and blessed you with. And so we're excited to share in this episode with you right before Thanksgiving. Got a great show in store for you, and we're going to kick it off with this special episode with a great intro, an actual real intro to one of our favorite parts of this show, and that is What's Been Cooking. Corey, let's see what's been cooking, my friend.
Well, it's not what's been cooking, but what's gonna be cooking. You got some chicken legs. Can you still hear me when I step away like that?
I got you.
So
look at that brand new, look at that Traeger right there.
And
woo, son.
I made up a little barbecue rub with some paprika and some garlic powder, onion powder, a little Tony Chachere's, and just a touch of brown sugar in there. And we're going to put them on the smoker here. And while I'm doing that, you can talk for a little bit.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure you can still hear me, Corey, but last night I actually did some chicken thighs and some chicken legs, or drumsticks, whatever you want to call them, and used some Cosmos seasoning on them, some Dirty Bird, and man, it's really good. I put that seasoning on there and let it sit for about an hour on both of those, and then cooked them up on the smoker here behind me. My Traeger, we're a couple of Traeger guys now. And they turned out really good, and those chicken thighs really turned out pretty good because I put them in a pan and then added some butter to it and let that butter melt down and cook in it for about 15 minutes after they had just about reached temp, and wound up being a really good supper last night. So I'm really a big fan of those drumsticks and chicken thighs. So it's hard to beat
the
that.
thighs are really my favorite.
Yes. So. You know, we went to Crest. I don't know, you guys, do you all have Crest over in Tennessee? I think y'all are Publix or
just the toothpaste.
Just the All flavors of that toothpaste. Well, we have Crest grocery stores over here, and they had pretty good sale on chicken thighs and those drumsticks or chicken legs, and so we got some the other day, and man, it really is hard to beat a chicken thigh. So
Yes.
those right there.
Well, and of course,
those are going to be good.
In that rub is also some salt and black pepper, of course. Some kosher salt, and then here in about, in fact, I need to set my timer. About 30 minutes. It may be in the midst of our talking about our psalm today, but just don't mind me if I have to get up. But I'll flip them in about 30 minutes, and then after I do that, I'll let them cook another 30 minutes, and then I'll put them in an aluminum pan with some tinfoil over the top of it, and then just let it sit in there and cook in that for another 45 minutes or so, and then I'll open it up and put some barbecue sauce in there and let it cook for another 10 or 15 minutes. But I'll try to, when we get done, if I think about it if I can keep them boys out of it long enough, I'll try to take a picture, and I don't know, it may be too late for you to put it up on the thing when you're editing all this, but I'll try to do that anyway so everybody can see it. But
well, if they get done, if we go long enough for them to get done, we not only need a picture, but we need a taste test. We need a rating. Get your boys to rate them 0 to 10.
If we go 2 hours, on this podcast, we're going to lose a whole lot of listeners, I'm afraid. So.
Oh man,
about 275 is what they're going to be cooking at, and I like to, when I'm cooking dark meat. I don't know about you, but 165 they say is the target. But when I'm cooking dark meat chicken, I cook it to about 180 or maybe even 190, because you're not going to dry it out like you will the white meat. So if I'm just doing the thighs or legs, I'll get it a little hotter, and that way, like I said, it won't dry it out, but it'll make it a little bit more not so chewy, the meat, I think. So, but anyway.
Yeah. I got mine to 165, 168, and then I my chicken thighs, and then cooked them in butter for another 15 minutes or so, and they were about 175 to 178 whenever I took them off, and the drumsticks were about the same. They were about the same in bone, about 170, 175. The smaller ones, of course, get a little bit hotter. The bigger ones, but they all turned out really good. That really has turned out to be one of my favorite meals. Easy, tastes good every time. Woo!
Yep.
Yeah. I should have saved mine for yesterday. We've been cooking the same thing.
That's right. Well, I had to cook something while we were live on the air, I thought. So
yeah. Well, it only makes sense. I'm cooking ribs tomorrow. But I'm going to cook them at my grandmother's house for my in-laws, and then our Thanksgiving with my grandma is going to be on Friday. So I'm putting the turkey into brine today, but it won't quite be ready to smoke. But I will have something going here shortly. But man,
we got two Thanksgivings tomorrow. So I'll early in the morning. I'll start the first one for lunch, and I'm doing a turkey and a ham for lunch, and then doing I got 2 slabs of ribs to put on there too. You inspired me, so
that's right.
And then when I'll start another one that will be for Mama's house, another turkey for tomorrow night. So I'll end up tomorrow. I'll have done 2 turkeys, a ham, and 2 slabs of ribs. So
nice,
and a partridge and a pear tree.
Yeah, there you go. Well, I have 1 turkey, 1 ham, 2 slabs of rib. That's all I'm cooking for both. So
hopefully go to the deer stand.
He's frying a turkey. So yeah, that'll be good. Well, you can see,
and hopefully go to the deer stand too.
Yes, yeah. Well, I was fixing to say, you can see if you're watching us that we're not in our typical place in our offices. We are at the smoker. Both of us in front of our Traegers, and we have both been hunting this morning. In fact, I'll probably put this in about right now whenever I get this all edited and we put it out there. But me and my son Cohen, we sent a picture to Corey, and with thumbs up, giving a good luck, and then he sent one back with his boy Gannon, and so we have both been hunting this morning, and actually just got in from hunting, and got everything set up to do this. So it's been a great morning. It was beautiful, beautiful here where we hunt. I should have taken a picture of it too, but very clear this morning, nice and cold. That sun came up, and it was just beautiful, just beautiful. So saw a couple of deer this morning. Cohen had a 10-point that came in front of him, a smaller 10-point, but it was just too dark for him to get a good bead on him, and then he had a nice 6, and everything else was turkey and coyote. We saw some of that going on, but no more deer this morning. We didn't see very much after that, so just one of those days.
I was just sure we were going to see a ton of them today because it's really the first cold morning hunt we've had.
Yeah.
And I know you said that was the same way with y'all too, but we saw a couple of smaller bucks and some doe, but there for the longest time. I think one time you texted me to see how we were doing. I told you we'd only seen one squirrel, and when you're not even seeing squirrel deer hunting, that's slow, you know. But the woods finally came to life, and I don't know. One of my favorite things out hunting, deer hunting this time of year is when you're sitting in the woods and there's crows on this side crowing, and there's a woodpecker over here, and the squirrels out here. You know, just all those sights and sounds of being in nature is just no place like it.
You are away from it all. There's no deadlines. There's no problems. It's just peaceful.
Yep.
That's probably one of my favorite things about deer hunting is, you know, you always like to get the big buck, and that's the big rush, and you love that. You create memories and all that, but just getting out, that's one of my favorite things. Just get out and go sit and turn it all off.
Yep.
So in fact, yesterday morning, I was sitting there, and all of a sudden I'm hearing this popping and you know, all this different noises around me. I look back, and there's about 15 turkeys behind me. So I stood up, and I'm taking video of turkey all around me, and just a bunch of hens. And it was funny. They're hopping on everything. I had no idea I was there. So that was a lot of fun. We saw them again this morning from a distance, but about 15 to 20 of them, all hens. Not a Jake or Tom with them. I don't know what the deal. Probably around somewhere.
Do y'all have a fall turkey season in Oklahoma?
We do.
Okay.
We do.
We do too, but it ends in October, so.
Yeah. We haven't done any turkey hunting this year. I used to turkey hunt a lot with my uncle, and then I turkey hunted a little bit, you know, when we, you know, later on in my 30s. But it's mainly just been deer hunting. Deer hunting has always been my favorite outside of quail. Quail hunting, I love the quail hunt, but as far as big game, so just haven't done as much of it in a while, but probably I definitely could at any time. But love to hunt just about anything, really.
Yeah. Well, I don't usually fall turkey hunt, but just usually in the spring.
Yeah.
But I love turkey hunting. I used to like it a little bit more. We used to have our season was earlier, and I believe in the Bible, so I don't like snakes because he says we're supposed to bruise their heads, and they're going to bruise our heels, you know. So used to the first couple of weekends, maybe the hunting wasn't as good, but the temperature was a lot more, you know, appropriate for not seeing snakes. And they moved it, which is really better for hunting. They moved it 2 weeks later, and it lasts 2 weeks longer. But it's hard for me to get in these bottoms whenever I know them no shoulders are out.
Yeah, well, I'm not fond of them either. Oh, yeah, not a snake person. I don't know why you would be a snake person. I just don't like them at all. But
Nope.
I guess some people do.
Nope.
There's big rattlesnake hunts around here, big ones. Lots of people.
I could go along with the hunting them, but it's illegal in Tennessee to hunt them. But
Is it? Well, it's not.
yeah.
Rattlesnake hunting is what it is.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, that's.
We don't really have rattlesnakes in West Tennessee much. I mean, every now and again you'll hear about somebody, but Middle Tennessee and East Tennessee has rattlers. But
yeah.
Mostly all we got to worry about around here is cottonmouths and copperheads. But we got enough of them to make up for everything else. So.
Yeah. Well, I just try to stay away from them. Any kind of snake, I just try to stay away. That's me.
Yeah.
But
and I'm okay if I can see it over yonder and identify it, and it's over there, and I'm over here, But it's when, you walk around a tree and there's one right there, or
yep.
You pick up something here in the yard and there's one laid up on. I shoot first and ask questions later, So.
Yeah. I don't blame you. Oh man. Well, as we always say, this is our favorite time of year. Snakes start going away when it gets colder. Deer are out. Lots of good hunting. Good football going on. There's lots of football. And now it is definitely smoking season, and doesn't get much better than this, where you and I can sit out here like this and do this and talk some Bible, and just really, really, really awesome.
Yeah. And it may be, I don't know, but we'll see what the feedback is or the ratings or whatever, however you measure all this, but it might have to become a more regular thing.
Yeah. Yeah. That'd be very
If
cool.
for the sake of the kingdom I had to spend more time outdoors in front of my smoker, I guess I could do it,
Well, it's officially untying from everything at that point. Untying from the office, and we both got our hunting sweatshirts on, and got our hunting caps on, and I was able to get harvest a doe yesterday, and donated her, and glad that I could do that. And so I've still got a little remnants of her on my boots here, and so it's been a good week. And tonight, I was actually planning on going hunting tonight, but our nephew has Oklahoma City Thunder tickets. So my Ryder, our third son, and I are going to go to the Thunder game tonight against the Timberwolves. So that'll be a lot of fun, and spend some time together doing that. So very, very cool.
Yep.
So,
well, we've been watching the men's basketball team has been having a ball out in Las Vegas the last couple of nights. Upset Houston last night, and
oh yeah,
get to play Kansas tonight. But they're looking sharp, and we play Vanderbilt on Saturday, and I know Oklahoma's rolling since y'all beat us, and looks like y'all are headed for the playoffs, and so
as long as we win Saturday,
maybe we'll end up in the Citrus Bowl. That's about the best we can do this year, but as long as we beat Vanderbilt, that'll be okay. After winning in the Swamp last Saturday, it's almost as good as winning the national championship, So,
yeah.
Ron DeSantis, the governor of Florida, put on there, "This is rock bottom for the Gators," and I thought, man, I've never really liked to agree with politicians too much, but that's one statement I could get behind, and I'm kind of liking it. So, anyway,
man. Yeah. Well,
and I saw this morning, I don't know if you've seen it or not, but Arkansas hired former Tennessee offensive coordinator Matt Golish.
I didn't see
Matt
that.
Golish? Has been coaching down at USF, and so he'll be bringing the high pole offense now to Arkansas.
So Arkansas makes that hire. Oklahoma State just hired the head coach of North Texas,
I saw that.
which
Yep.
they're doing pretty good. And of course, James Franklin is now the Virginia Tech head
Virginia
coach,
Tech.
and I think that's a great hire for them. So there's going to be a lot of movement. Of course, Lane Kiffin is in the running for everything, and
Lane Kiffin is like watching Lane Kiffin is like watching an episode of The Bachelor right now.
oh man, I saw
He's been suited by everybody.
I saw a deal last night. I can't remember exactly how it said it, but it said this just in: Lane Kiffin leaving Ole Miss, heading to United Kingdom, is in the running to be the next king of England.
I saw that.
Oh man! So you talk about a guy who is, if he is not planning to leave Ole Miss, he's the most popular coach in America right now. So all kinds of cool memes coming from that. But I guess Saturday we'll find that out.
Yeah.
What's going on with him?
Yeah.
So should be pretty interesting.
See who he gives his rose to.
Yeah. Well, I tend to think it's going to be LSU. They're offering him a lot of money. But if for me, obviously not in his situation, but Ole Miss, there's no expectation. You just do what you need to do. They're giving you money. And LSU, there is a lot of expectation, but
that's right.
That's a big stage. So, we'll see what happens. But Oklahoma's got to beat LSU this weekend. That will seal the deal for our playoff spot. Looks like we'll be playing Notre Dame. And what a great draw. I couldn't ask for a better team to beat in the first round of the playoffs as Notre Dame.
Amen.
Oh, but then we'll have to play Ohio State. So that'll be a true test. That'll be a true test of if they're actually that good or not. And will also be a test to see if our defense is actually that good or not. And their defense is pretty good. So hopefully our offense will be able to do something. But got a couple of teams before we get there. So
that's also assuming that Ohio State beats Michigan, which they hadn't done in the last 5 years.
That's right. That's true. That is very true. So if they were to lose, then we might play Indiana. Which I would actually like to play Indiana. They're another team that need to see if they're any good or not.
But then again, depending on how everything shakes out, like for example, you may not want to spend this much time on college football, but if you go down like with all the distractions, could you see Mississippi State beating Ole Miss at home? I definitely could see that.
I think that they will.
Alabama playing Auburn at night. Yep. Would it be totally unthinkable for Auburn to pull the upset? Nope. I think not. Georgia goes to the SEC championship game and loses. I mean, there's still some scenarios where Oklahoma could end up, maybe on that other side of that bracket and not having to maybe go to an Ohio State or whatever. But you just never know.
That's very true. That is very true. Whatever is going to happen is going to be a pretty interesting situation. And, we'll just have to see how it plays out. I think they've got a lot of stuff to figure out on how they put together that bracket. Because I think there's some teams that, might get on there this year and, probably will get on there in the next few years if they keep doing it how they're doing it. That probably could not beat anybody on that bracket yet because they have won their conference, have gotten a pass. So, we'll see.
Particularly when they said before the year what's going to matter is strength of schedule and that kind of thing, and it's not mattered one bit. Or A&M would be the number one team in the country right now.
Yeah,
Now, granted, A&M has played only the bottom half of the SEC.
Yeah.
But I'd take the bottom half of the SEC over the bottom half of some of these other conferences. And to go to Notre Dame and beat them, who else was it they beat? They beat somebody else that was highly ranked. I don't remember who it was now, but they've at least played a couple of teams.
Yeah. Ohio State hasn't played anybody. Indiana hasn't played anybody, really.
Oregon.
Yeah. And Oregon doesn't have a great schedule. Oklahoma, Alabama, Florida, their season hasn't turned out how they want, but they had a very tough schedule. So that should weigh in, but it will grow and hopefully adjust over time. And I heard somebody saying we need to go back to the BCS ranking style, because this is actually built for the BCS ranking style is actually built for what we're doing now. It wasn't built for what we were doing then. So some are making that because it takes all of the personal stuff out of it. Otherwise, I don't know if Notre Dame would be where they are. So,
nope. Because they played 2 tough games all year long, and they lost both of them.
Yeah. Yep. So,
and
who knows?
And I know I'm biased, and you can accuse me of being biased because I'll tell you that I am, but I don't know that there's a better 3-loss team in the country than Tennessee. Took Georgia to overtime. What was our game? 4 points or whatever it was. Yeah, Alabama, it's basically 2 plays in Alabama that was the difference. I mean, we didn't win those games, granted, but we're just a few. But if we played in the Big Ten, we're probably 11-1 right now.
Yeah.
So
those games, any of those games can go either way. So that's just good SEC football is what those games were. So yeah, going to be a lot of fun watching all that stuff and seeing how it all lines up, and of course seeing how deer season lines up. We got a lot of stuff to look forward to, Corey. A lot of food to look forward to, some more hunting to look forward to, some more football to look forward to. Lord is good, and He has blessed us with the fall.
That's right.
That's right. Well, today we are in Psalm 54, and that's where we're going to spend our time today. Corey and I could probably go on for the next hour and a half, and to a point where he probably could taste test those wings or those legs he's got on his Traeger grill there, but we probably need to move on. And so that's what we're going to do. Move to Psalm 54, and looking forward to this study. And of course, since we're out of the office, if you're watching us, we're not going to be able to have the text on the screen, so you can follow along with your Bibles and or tablet or whatever way that you like to do that. And of course, you can also mark 1 Samuel chapter 23. It's just our connection point here, and this is a lament psalm. It's also a trust psalm, and some really good stuff. Again, we're going to see a lot of some of the same things that we have seen in the other psalms that we have looked at as we consider David, who is the blessed man. And of course, we get that phrase from the very first part of the Psalms in Psalm 1. Blessed is the man, and we really feel that David is a blessed man, not because of his position, but because of his faith and his heart and his perspective of spirituality. That's what really brings the blessings upon him, because of his vertical direction of faith, if you will, because he's always looking to God in all of his life, even in times where he's messed up. And as we've looked at that before over the last couple of weeks, he directly, turns back to the Lord. So let's get into this, Corey. You want to introduce Psalm 54 for us?
Yeah, Psalm 54 is another psalm, obviously by David. In fact, it's in the middle of this section 52 to 55 that are all psalms written by David. Um, he's again praying for deliverance from Saul being pursued by him. But in this particular psalm, the title tells you that it was when the Ziphites went and told Saul, "Is not David among us?" Well, David had rescued an Israelite border town from the Philistines, but um, Saul still considers him a traitor, even though he's not, of course. And but the Ziphites were from David's own tribe of Judah, and he was being hotly pursued by Saul, who was trying to take his life. Um, you're doing good deeds. You are among your own people, so to speak.
All right, we are back. We had a little bit of internet issue. This is probably one reason why we don't do this more. We'll be maybe a little bit more ready next year, but we're going to try this again. So we're going to pick back up where we left off, which is Corey was talking about the introduction of Psalm 54 in 1 Samuel 23. So Corey, go ahead and pick it back up and keep on introducing here.
Okay. Well, I may repeat myself. I'm not sure when you lost me, but Saul's running. David's running from Saul. He's with the Ziphites. They're part of his tribe of Judah.
Yep.
You're amongst your own people, and yet it seems like everybody's turned against you, and it just shows again the power of the Psalms. We've talked about this a bunch. That 1,000 years BC, 2025 AD, everywhere in between, people that you know and love sometimes will turn against you and talk badly about you and make accusations against you and all kinds of things. And that happened with David, but it's one of the things that I love about all of the Psalms are powerful and all of them are wonderful, but the Psalms that we're studying this season are so wonderful because we can connect all of these directly to texts. And I can go to 1 Samuel and I can read what happened there.
Yeah.
But then I can turn to Psalm 54 and see what David was thinking, what he was feeling, what he was going through. And it's just we keep saying it over and over this season, but it's just amazing to see this man of God that no matter what he's going through, how that it drives him towards the Lord and his relationship with him. And such a powerful lesson for us when we feel like the world has turned against us. There's always God that we can turn to, and we can be like David, even in times of lament and sorrow, fear and confusion, we can be confident and trust that God hears us and loves us and protects us and will take care of us, and that everything will be okay as long as our relationship with him is right.
Yeah. Yeah.
And while you're commenting on that, I need to turn the chicken legs.
Turning the chicken. We've hit the 30-minute mark, so we're moving along pretty easily. Well, I'll look back and start us off in Psalm 54. Corey, I really love how this psalm begins by David saying, "Save me, O God, by your name, and vindicate me by your power. Hear my prayer, O God. Give ear to the words of my mouth, for strangers have risen against me, and violent men have sought my life. They have not set God before them. Behold, God is my helper. The Lord is the sustainer of my soul. He will recompense the evil to my foes. Destroy them in your faithfulness. Willingly I will sacrifice to you. I will give thanks to your name, O Lord, for it is good. For he has delivered me from all trouble, and my eye has looked with the satisfaction upon my enemies. I love how this starts. Only 7 verses to this psalm, but the very beginning words that David says is, "Save me, O God, by your name, and vindicate me by your power. Hear my prayer." How many times in our lives have we felt as people are very against us, and we feel like there's nowhere to run? It's almost like the relationship at this point between David and Saul is so interesting. Saul is a very jealous man of David. Saul has filled his heart with hatred, with anger, with so many things toward David. And David doesn't feel that way toward Saul. The love and appreciation that David feels for him is not reciprocated. And there's got to be a great time of confusion, continuously for him. Why is it that he feels this way about me? Why in the world is he so concentrated on what he's doing? It shouldn't be this way. So for him to be hunted down, that's a great feeling I don't even know what that would feel like. Be hunted by your enemies. They have one goal in mind. So being constantly on the run, to reach out to God during that time and just say, "Save me." Now for David, maybe that means a few different things, but he knows that God is the one ultimately who will save him. And I think that that's a very powerful thought for us in all times of trouble for our life. God, save me. I'm putting this in your hands. Whatever happens, I'm putting trust in you. And I think that's a very powerful start to a lament, a prayer, a petition to God for what's going on in his life.
Yeah, and notice in the end of verse 1, he says to, or middle ways, I guess, he says, "Save me by your name."
Yeah.
One of the cool, it's a key word, name, in the Psalms, but one of the cool studies to do sometime is go through the book of Psalms and see what all that it says about God's name.
Mm-hmm.
His name, Yahweh, it's a name that represents glory and honor and power and strength, but it also represents a covenant relationship that he has with David and with all of his people. And but we think of like the name of God, praying in Jesus' name, for example. Um, you know, if the police are coming to your house and to arrest you, they knock on the door and say, "Open up in the name of the law," or by the authority of the law. God is the one that's in control, and God is the one who has the authority. Saul thinks he's in control. David sometimes thought he was in control. But God is the one that has the authority and the power, and he's the one, and again, you can see that in the parallelism, the second half of verse 1, "Vindicate me by your might."
Yeah.
God's name is his strength. It's his power. It's his might. And because of that, "Oh God, hear my prayer and give ear to the words of my mouth," not just to listen to what I have. It's one thing to know that God listens to us, knows what we have to say, but he's not just like hearing the sound, he's responding to our prayers. And that's what he's asking him to do here.
Right. Right. To share his innermost feelings with him. One of the things, it's Thanksgiving, and so of course we have to work that into this. But I am really thankful that we have, I'm not going to say a God because that would mean more than one. We have the God, and the God cares about how you feel. He cares about what you're going through. He cares about the sorrow in your heart, the fear in your heart. And while in certain instances, maybe he uses those things to help strengthen your faith and your perspective, to know that he is there and always wants to completely understand what you are trying to tell him is so it's just something that I'm constantly in awe of, especially in Romans chapter 8. Paul discusses the idea that with that phrase, with groan, you can pray with groanings too deep for words. In other words, he can understand the things that you can't figure out how to say. How much of this, when David is praying, because this is not the only prayer that he's praying, how much of this is he trying to say, but he doesn't know how to say, and God is making sure that he understands how he feels. Now here he's of course speaking exactly what he needs to say, but those times are going to be very up and very down as he's running. Fatigue has to play a role in that. The emotions have to play a role in that. He's really wanting to share his heart with this, and God truly does care about that.
Yeah, and it's such a juxtaposition to verse 3 of, what it is that he's feeling. As much as God is with him and for him and listens to him and hears him and helps him, what's put him in this terrible situation, these strangers, he calls them, the word that's used there is either talking about foreigners or it's talking about Israelites that had gone astray, and that's what it would be here, because he's talking about Saul and the Ziphites, right. But he describes them as ruthless men. Mm-hmm. They're violent, they're powerful. Some translations say these are men that are oppressing me. This is like, we sing the song, "Where could I go but to the Lord?" I really am backed up in a corner here. Where it's even the people that should be for me the most are the ones that have turned against me. And I've got nowhere to turn to but God because of how desperate my situation is here.
Right. Yeah, and I was looking at a reference here to, that last part of this. They have not set God before them. And there's a reference here to Psalm 36:1. Transgression speaks to the ungodly. Within his heart, there is no fear of God before his eyes. This is, in understanding that this is, part of Israel, this is really the persona that Israel has taken on for a long time by this point. In the book of Judges, they did what was right in their own eyes. And when you do what's right in your own eyes, then you have turned away from God. You have not set God before yourself. Well, of course, this would be after, but, we see kings upon kings upon kings after David has already gone and passed. Solomon is gone and passed. Then under the reign of Rehoboam, onward, king after king after king does this very thing. And the book of Hosea would, demonstrate this. They basically, Hosea chapter 4, they had basically removed God from their life, and they had placed wooden idols in front of their eyes. And while that may not specifically be discussed here, they have put their own pride in front of themselves. Saul was supposed to be a man of God. He was supposed to do things in the right way. But ultimately, he was the idol of Israel. That's who they wanted. This is the guy. This is what he's supposed to look like, what he's supposed to sound like, what he's supposed to act like. And so essentially, he is their idol. And you kind of have this Hosea chapter 4 mentality going on here. And so they have not set God before their eyes. Well, who have they set before their eyes? Saul. He has become this godlike figure in their hearts and minds. And maybe you disagree with that, Corey. Maybe I'm way off, but it seems that while Saul is going on about this journey of power and justice in his own heart and mind, that it's his way or it's the highway. God has left him. God is now with David, and Saul is basically on a mission to justify his own kingship. And so, his pride's in front of him, Saul's in front of the people, and now this is the result of what the people have become.
Yeah, well, certainly they fear Saul more than they do God.
Yeah.
And It kind of, David says that they're ruthless people and they're trying to destroy me. The reason is because they haven't put God before their own eyes. Okay. Yeah. It makes me think of like in John 15, whenever Jesus says the reason that they're going to hate you is because they hate me. Mm-hmm. No, the reason that they hate David is because they don't fear God.
Yeah.
And if they feared God, why was it that David twice had the opportunity to kill Saul but would not? He's the anointed of the Lord.
Yeah.
His men are saying, "Hey, now's your chance," But my responsibility, my duty to the Lord is greater than anything that I want. That was David's mentality. Mm-hmm. It's not the mentality of Saul, and it's not the mentality of all these people that are turning against David and supporting Saul either.
Yeah, yeah. Now, I didn't do this very well. It was either last episode or the episode before, but I'm doing it now better than I did before. And there that word is, the pause. And of course, it doesn't say the pause. It says Salah or Selah, however you want to say that. But this is a pause. This is like a statement, right? They have not set God before them. Pause. Now, check that out and think about it. This is the type of people that David is messing with. This is the type of people that David is running from. And if we connect that to our own life, there's going to be a lot of people that we're running from in some way if we're not careful. We're running from them spiritually. We're running from them emotionally. Maybe we're running from them physically. I don't know. But with God, he gives us the courage to stand strong. And so there's a reason that David is hiding. There's a reason David is running. Like you had mentioned, there was 2 different times he could have probably ended this whole thing and gone ahead and stepped into this role. But he was trying to do things God's way while Saul was trying to do things his way. And so now he says in verse 4, behold, he says, God is my helper. So,
and I think it's what you pointed out with the pause there is so important, because you read verses 1, 2, and 3, and then you're stopping and like, oh no, what's the answer? There's ruthless men after him. They have no concern about God. What's David going to do? Yeah. And it's almost like the old Batman show. What's going to happen to our dynamic duo? Tune in tomorrow, same about time. Yeah. And then verse 4, behold, pay attention to this, God. And I interrupted you there. You can go on, but it's never fear, God is here.
Yeah. Yeah, and we should probably make some Untied t-shirts with that. Never fear, God is here. I think that would work. But I'm just going through here, and as we've done so far during this season, we have really highlighted the yous, the yours, the I's, the me's, all of those different words. And how we have a lot of different references to God outside of just his name. So verse 1, you have your name, your power, but then you have and then you have the me's, right? Verse 1, save me, vindicate me. Verse 2, hear my prayer, O God, give ear to the words of my mouth. So again, all of this is through here. This is showing us again that the blessed man has a real relationship with God. And maybe that's the correlation that we have throughout this whole season that at least I've been trying to say in the best possible way. David had a real relationship with God. And a real relationship with God is one that can be upset with God, is one that can be happy with God, is the one that can be fearful of God, is the one that can be fearful with God, and everything else in between and all around. David has a real relationship, and in his times of joy or distress or struggle, it's a me and you type of relationship. He is completely relying on God. And I think that this is once again showing that the blessed man relies on God during every single part of his life. So after the pause, behold, God is my helper. The Lord is the sustainer of my soul. So this isn't a surface level relationship. This is an all-in kind of relationship. It is a deep feeling, a deep connection, fellowship that David has with God. And I think that that's very important for us to consider. As he says in verse 5, he will recompense the evil to my foes, destroy them in your faithfulness. He's got full faith in the Lord that he can do whatever he wants to do. But, no matter what happens to David, he's putting all his faith and trust in the Lord. And I think that is truly what the blessed man considers.
Yeah, and he's not taking vengeance in his own hands. He's leaving it up to God to do that, which again is one of those things in the Psalms. You have those imprecatory Psalms that sometimes confuse people, but in all of those imprecatory Psalms, it's not that David is trying to find an opportunity to take revenge for himself. He wants God to be victorious, and the reason is because, verse 5, he will return the evil to my enemies, put it into them because of their evil. He wants God to win. He wants righteousness from God to be what is triumphant, not the evil from men. And in the sovereignty of God, that's what needs to happen, David recognizes. Otherwise, it's going to cause others to not see the value in choosing righteousness over evil, and it's going to make it look like God isn't sovereign. So he's appealing to God, but his trust is and his confidence is God's going to take care of this. Again, we've said this before, but we'll say it again. It's not always in our time frame, our timeline that we want. It may not even be the way that we want, but ultimately, it may not even be in this life. But ultimately, God's going to He's going to even those accounts. He's going to if we continue in unrighteousness, unrepentant, then God's going to take care of that. He's going to punish those that are doing evil, and that's what David's asking him to do, and what he knows that he will do ultimately.
Yeah. I love how he's going about saying these things. I mean, it's full reliance and understanding. Not everything I'm asking for may happen here, and our relationships. And some of the things that you said, our relationships here with people that we worship with people that are in this world we work with. Some are going to like us, some are not. Some are going to be enemies of us, some are not. Some are going to be. There's a lot of people that you're sitting there asking, why do they have what they have? Why are they able to do what they do? They are not good people. They're not, and there's so much negative around them. There's so many, it's just not a good situation. Why in the world do they have so much? Why do they seem to be so blessed? Well, here's the reality, is that we're looking at two men that have very different situations here. And so there is two different perspectives that need to be considered when we're considering what actually being blessed is. Saul has all the money, Saul has all the power, Saul has all the army, Saul has everything. From a physical standpoint, some people will look at him and say, that guy's blessed. David is hiding in caves. He's running. He's probably got not much, but the clothes on his back. We would say that guy is not blessed. But the reality is that true blessings, at the core of what that means, true blessings are not found in the physical situation of a person. They are found within the spiritual situation of a person. David will always be blessed, even in his worst times, not because of what he has physically, but because of what he has spiritually. And his perspective on life his perspective on his situation is correct, while Saul's is not. And so I think in a lot of ways, we really have to, as people, untie from the idea that what we have from a physical standpoint is a blessing. No, it can be. I'm not saying that it's not. But true blessings are found in the spiritual sense, because that helps us to have understanding and the right perspective of life in general. It helps us to think of the good things and the bad times. It helps us to be considerate of the bad things and the bad times. It helps us to be empathetic to people who are going through that stuff. You know, it's the perspective is a reality whenever you're considering those things. So, you know, David really is the blessed man in this situation, even though he's the one who is having the harder time.
Yeah, it's all about that relationship with God that David has. That's what that really is. The idea is being approved of God, and he is, not because of what he has, but because of the relation. Well, it is because the relationship that he has with him is what really matters. And you see that these last two verses, the way that he closes it down.
Right. Willingly I will sacrifice to you. I will give thanks to your name, O Lord, for it is good, for he has delivered me from all trouble, and my eye has looked with satisfaction upon my enemies. So, you know, his enemies haven't disappeared, but he's giving thanks. He's sacrificing. He's realizing God delivers him from trouble, but the enemies are still there. So again, this is the perspective of what the blessed man, how he lives, which I think is a big thing that we really ought to consider.
Yeah, he's going to give thanks to his name. Well, if you remember back up here earlier, it was his name that he was appealing to, verse 1, to save him by. So, you know, I'm asking you to save me by your power, by your authority, by the very essence of who you are. I'm going to give thanks to the very essence of who you are, because of who you are. You are Lord. That's the word that he uses there. Oh Lord is Yahweh. For it is good. His name is good. His name is good because he is good. And, you know, that confidence that he has in him is not misplaced, because he knows God keeps his promises, that God is serious about his relationship with David, and he expects David, of course, serious about his relationship with him. But he realizes that it's a two-way street. From all the way back at Sinai, if you'll be my God, if you'll be my people, rather, I'll be your God.
Yeah.
They agreed to it, so it's a bilateral covenant that he's made with them, and so David knows. The question is not on whether God will keep his end of the bargain; it's whether I'm going to keep mine. That's what I'm striving to do, and so I know that he will. So, knowing that he will, I'm going to give this free will sacrifice to you. I'm going to give thanks to your name, and the reason why is because, as you said, it's written in such a way, verse 7, he has delivered me. It's either that he's writing this after the fact, or, like I would assume, that he's just writing this and praying this in the confidence that he knows what's going to happen. When I look at my enemies, I don't have to look at them in fear. I can look at them in triumph, because I know that God is on my side.
Yeah. And what's really cool is seemingly it seems how this psalm is put together, how he begins and ends it. Save me, O God, by your name, and vindicate me by your power. That's verse 1. And then in verse 7, for he has delivered me from all trouble, and my eyes have looked with satisfaction upon my enemies. So, you know, verse 1 and 7 seem to go together. And then you have verse 2, hear my prayer, O God, give ear to the words of my mouth. And verse 6, willingly I will sacrifice to you, I will give thanks to your name, O Lord, for it is good. So we have kind of two prayer type of verses that are going there. Hear my prayer, and I will willingly give thanks to you. And then you have 3 and 5. For strangers have risen up against me, and violent men have sought my life. They have not set God before them. And then in verse 5, he will recompense the evil to my foes, destroy them in your faithfulness. So it seems that verse 4 really is the point. Behold, God is my helper. The Lord is the sustainer of my soul. So as I'm going through here, I'm sitting here going, seems like there's a beginning and end to every one of these verses. 1 and 7, 2 and 6, 3 and 5, and boom, number 4, that's the point. And so, that goes to, of course, the way that this is written, which is, a style of poetry, a style of song. And so that really, I think, is the point that Paul wants to get through.
Yeah, and that verse 4, that's the middle of that whole thing, is right after the Selah. So you set all this up, and then the pause, here's the point. And because that's the point, then 5, 6, and 7 can be true. That's the answer, the paired answer to each of those first 3 verses.
Yeah. Yeah. Really, really an amazing psalm. Of course, the subtitle says "Prayer for Defense Against Enemies," and I think that's not only a defense, possibly physically, but definitely one spiritually and mentally, because the Lord really is where we find our strength, our comfort, our joy, and courage to be able to move on. I don't think it's by accident that, pulling from other texts, that God told Joshua, be strong and courageous so many times. Chapter 1, be strong and courageous over and over again. Well, he may not say that. At least I don't remember him saying that to David. If he does, I probably need to look that up. But the idea is always true, that David understands that idea, that he is and will always be strong and courageous with God, because he is my God. He's my helper. He's my sustainer. Saul's not. Israel's not. Nobody is except him. And again, that's the blessed man's point. That's what he hangs his hat on, if you will.
That's right.
So, well, another great psalm, Corey. I'm so thankful to be able to do this with you, and to share in all of this with those who are tuning in with us, or viewing us as we're sitting here in front of our Traegers, still in our hunting gear, talking some Bible. I mean, it just doesn't get any better than this. Learning from the Psalms, and of course today, Psalm 54. So, Corey, do you have anything else you want to close with before we say adios to this episode?
Happy Thanksgiving.
That is it. That's it. Happy Thanksgiving. Happy hunting. Happy football watching. Happy eating. Just be happy, right?
Don't worry, be happy.
Don't worry.
Hey, by the way, I thought about when I was looking for in my Bible Psalm 54, I thought about Car 54, Where Are You? I was singing Psalm 54, Where Are You? And I forgot to say this in the introduction, because I asked you if you knew that, and you said you'd never heard of that show. I've only seen the reruns, but it's a comedy from about the maybe late 50s, early 60s. 2 police officers, one of which would go on after that to play Herman Munster in The Munsters. What's his name? Fred Dwyer. So anyway, Car 54, where are you?
And there's the song.
That's right.
Oh, now I know who Herman Munster is. I've seen that, but I don't remember ever seeing the other. So that will be some facts that you can remember, folks. R54. Look it up.
Yeah. Yeah. And think about how thankful we should be for all of these old songs that, we can go back and make really bad references to and all of that.
Oh, yes. That's the right perspective. Be thankful in all things, even for songs like that.
Yep.
Oh,
So
man.
anyway,
Well, we do hope that you have a wonderful, happy Thanksgiving. I'm always so happy to share our time, Corey, and we're grateful to be able to share our time with you who are tuning and watching this. And we hope that you will, of course, as always, like, share, subscribe, and follow to help this podcast grow, whether that is on YouTube or for Excel TV or any of the major podcasting platforms you are tuning in from, especially the Excel Pod Network. You can head over to excelstomore.net and check out the Excel Pod Network. Check out the family of podcasts there. We've got a great lineup of podcasts on there. And so we hope that you'll do that. But until next time, we do hope that you will have a great, happy Thanksgiving. Thank you for tuning in and joining us at our Traegers as Corey has been smoking some chicken. I'm sure next week we'll give you an update on how that turned out, which I'm sure it will be very good. But thank you for joining us, and we hope that, as always, you will continue on walking with God, grow spiritually in every way, and until next time, stay untied.